Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's DAF Hayemi Maseches Bava Kamma DAF Zayin. We actually got up to DAF Vav Amid Beis, 7 lines off the bottom of the Amid. So the pasuk explains that when a person's animal eats away at his friend's, plants, Meitav Sadeyu Umeitav Karma Yushalem, he has to pay the best, highest quality property, highest quality piece of land as compensation for that damage. So if he chooses to pay with karka, with a piece of land, it must be your best quality piece of land. Meitav Sadeyu. Now, yesterday we discussed a brisa which features two shitas. Rabbi Shmuel says it's all about the meitav on the nizak's end, on the victim's end. So basically, as long as your payment, the quality of the karka that you're paying matches the best quality of the nizak's portfolio, that's called meitav sadeu. Whereas Rabbi Kiva says, no, it must be your best field. So if the mazik has many, qualities, he has to give his best. Okay, so that was yesterday. And Rabbi Kiva added, Rabbi Kiva Omer, loy baha kosav ela ligbois l'nezakim min ha'idis. All the pasuk is telling you is to pay your best. Number one. Number two, v'kal v'chem hegdish. And certainly, of course, if it happened with hegdish, if one damages hegdish property, you have to pay the best. Highest quality payment. Now, my kal v'chem hegdish. What does that mean? So one of our oxen, meaning an ox that belongs to a common person, gores, damages a shoyer of hegdish. And the point is that repayment must take place using the best of his fields. Since when do you have to compensate for damage incurred to hegdish? Sheireu amarachmana. V'lo yisher shel hegdish. Torah says, "Higach shoyer ish es sheireu." If one's ox gores his friend's ox, his friend, not hegdish. There's no chiyuv by hegdish. V'lo yisher shel hegdish. So it can't be speaking about that. Ella rather, it's going on the following case. If somehow a person owes money to hegdish for a different reason, he promised a donation. I promise to give a mana to Bedek Habayis. The point is that the treasurer will come and collect on that donation. I'll take your best property. That's the point of the price. We're not discussing damages. Discussing paying up for your donations. Why would he have to pay idis? Lo yehei ela bal chayv at most. He's like a bal chayv. If you lend somebody money, comes payday, no money, you go and repossess his property. But which one of his properties? Ubal chayv bebeinanis. He only gets medium quality. That's the halacha discussed in Maseches Gittin. So at most, the gizber is treated like a bal chayv. What right does he have to access the best, highest quality fields of the person? Perhaps he'll say, perhaps Rabbi Akiva, who made this statement, really holds that kol bal chayv now be idis. Every bal chayv has entitled to idis. So here as well, by the hegdish, the treasurer will collect the idis. Perhaps that's what he meant. Well, that doesn't work because you can compare apples to oranges. There's a very simple distinction. Mal bal chayv. You know why an ordinary bal chayv collects the best? Sheken yafa koicha ben zaken, because he has an advantage. He has a right to collect on damages incurred to him. He's a common person, a hedyot, right? If somebody damages his property, he can collect on it. So perhaps because he has that advantage, he has the advantage by bal chayv as well to collect from idis. Tamer be'hegdish as opposed to hegdish proper, which has a tremendous disadvantage. Shehura koicha ben zaken. If one damages hegdish proper, he's potter, as we explained before. So perhaps since he has that disadvantage, that weakness, likewise when it comes to collecting on a chayiv, hegdish cannot collect. the same way as a non-Hegdish entity does. He can't collect from Idis. How can he compare Hedya to Hegdish? Okay, let's go back to that earlier suggestion. Rabbi Kiva is referring to a case where my shur was negeach Hegdish's shur. I have to pay damages from the best of my properties. Well, you had a question on that, regarding your question. Since when am I paying when I damage Hegdish? The Torah clearly stipulates it's specific to a friend's animal. So I'm not chayiv. Answer is, Rabbi Kiva holds that he is chayiv. There's another shita. Just the opposite. You think if you damage Hegdish's property, you get a discount? Just the opposite. You pay 100%. You don't even get that 50% discount for being a tam. Shor shel Hegdish, shenegach shor shel Hedjit pot. You're right. If Hegdish's shor hits my shor, he's potter. Because it's not kigach shor ish, it doesn't belong to a man, it belongs to Hegdish. So potter on that side. But on the other side, oh boy, I have to pay 100%. Shor shel Hedjit, shenegach shor shel Hegdish. If my shor hits Hegdish, Bein tam, bein mud, whether he was an innocent shor or whether he was a habitual gorer, it's always 100% payment. Mishalom nezek shalom. And he has the drush of the psukim. Rashi explains here and elsewhere. Bottom line is that's shittas of Shimon Menashe. You are chayiv upon being magzik hegdish, and that's exactly Rabbi Kiva's root as well. And he's just highlighting the point that when you pay, you have to pay the best. So bottom line is that in this brisa are contained two separate disputes between Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Shmuel says you work with the idus. When you pay the best of the nizaks, upon his standards. Rabbi Kiva says it's all about my best. Next machlekes, hezek of hegdish. Rabbi Shmuel seems to indicate you're potter. Rabbi Kiva says you're chayiv. Says the Gemara Ihach, if that's the case, that there is a machlekes regarding the general machlekes regarding liability for damaging hegdish. So then, who says there are two machlekes in this brisa? Maybe this is the one and only machlekes in the brisa. There's no machlekes regarding how to evaluate idis. No, skip that. Yachir Rishmor Rekiva. How do you know the beidis, the nizuk, if it's a burst, the mazik, pligi? We had this whole discussion yesterday, right? Can I give my worst if it equals his best? Who says they're discussing that at all? Right? Let's just recap quickly. We had a machlekes. The way we explained machlekes yesterday was that we're speaking where the mazik had two qualities. He has different type of properties. He has a quality A, quality B. So A and B. And the nizuk, the one who was victimized by the mazik, also has A and B. And the nizuk's A equals the mazik's B. Question: when the mazik has to repay the nizik for damages, can he get away with giving quality B, which equals quality A of the nizik, or does he have to give quality A of his own portfolio, which far surpasses the top quality of the nizik? So, according to Bishmol, get away with cheap because it matches the top of the nizik. Whereas Rabbi Kiva goes, well, you have to upgrade it, give your best. How do you know that's at all topic of discussion today? Dilma de Kuli Ama, but the nizik Shamina, perhaps all agree it has to match the best of the nizak's properties. That's all the machlekes on that. The machlekes is simply regarding hegdish, the other topic. So regarding evaluations, all agree it's all about the nizak's standards. The other machlekes is surrounding the question of hegdish, liable or not liable. The plukta the Rabbi Shimon Menashe, Bava Kamma. Rabbi Kiva savar yod like Rabbi Shimon Menashe. You're chayiv even if you're mazik hegdish. Rabbi Shmuel savar karabon, you're not chayiv. That's all. And Cain says the Gemara it can't be, because if so, my loy ba'hakosav. Rabbi Kiva responds to Rabbi Shmuel. Loy ba'hakosav. No, that's not what the boss is coming to tell you, that you go with the idis of the nizak. No, it's not that. He's not even arguing about that. So why is he sort of responding in that sort of, direct way? Evidently, yeah. The machlekes pertains also to hedya, to ordinary people, not just the hegdish. The question pertains to how to estimate and evaluate the idus factor. Number one. Number two, v'oid, another raya that they're discussing how to evaluate meitav, because otherwise, if Rabbi Kiva is sort of towing Rabbi Shmuel's line that you can get away giving less as long as it matches the idus of the nizuk, so what's the point of saying kal v'chomer? Certainly by hegdish, which sounds like he's so responsible by the hedyot, certainly by the hegdish. Well, if you are applying a kula by hedyot, I don't have to give my best as long as it equals his best. Then how could you say kal v'chomer? Certainly by hegdish. Who says? Who says? Hegdish gets that weakness. Hegdish should be stronger, not weaker. Void another raya. Ha'amar Rav Ashi. Rav Ashi quoted a brisa, which leaves no room for mistake. Tanya behedya, we have a clear brisa on this pasuk. Meitav sadeu, meitav karmi yishalim. Who's best? Whose standards? Meitav sadeu shel nizak, of the victim. Meitav karmi shel nizak, of the victim. Divrei Rabbi Shmuel. So as long as your karka that you're paying, the nizak, matches his best, you're okay. Rabbi Kiva, no. Your best. Meitav sadeu shel mazik. Meitav karmi shel mazik. So it's clearly a machlekas as well. Ramalei Abai l'Rav. Abai asks Rav a question. First it says, Ksiv meitav sadeu, meitav karmi yishalim. Gotta pay your best. Meitav in, midachrin loy, only the best, nothing else. Vatanya. Then we have another pasuk. A person made this pit, presented this hazard, this obstacle in the street. There was damage that occurs, he has to pay. And the pasuk says that he has to pay kesev yoshiv lebalav. Right, so that's a repetition because the pasuk already says balabor yishalim kesev yoshiv lebalav. Why do you have to say yishalim and then yoshiv? Vatani yoshiv is coming to add l'rabo yishav kesev. Afilu subin, you can pay anything, anything of value, even if it's chaff, bran from your granary. Apparently, you don't have to pay the best at all. Even bran works. Like Kashi answers like this. All depends on the context. Kanmi daiti. If you're paying willingly without giving him a hassle, give him anything. Kalm ba korchai. But if he's uncooperative and you have to go and drag him to Bezdin and go through a whole hula hoop to get him to pay, then you have to pay the best. Amar ula breda riloy dekanami. This explanation is indicative of in the wording of the pasuk. Dechsiv yishalim bal karcha. It says yishalim. Balabar yishalim. If he's being forced bal karcha to pay, you got to pay the best. But if he's just cooperating easily, then pay anything. What do you mean? Yishalim means against his will. Miksiv yishulam. Does it say yishulam, which is lashon of nifal, being forced to pay? Yishalim ksiv b'daiti mashma. Yishalim means he's paying willingly. Elam Abaye, so this pshat doesn't work because the pasuk clearly is allowing any person to pay anything. Right? Yishalim kesef means he has to pay dafka money, and then it says yashiv anything. So how does this work? Right? You have a stira. Is it meitav or is it the worst? Subin? Elam Abai kedemar. The way to answer this contradiction is by going and having a look at how Mar, the Rabbah, answered another issue, and we can sort of adopt that concept and apply it here as well. The Sanya. We know that if a person has in his possession 200 zuz, he's no longer considered below the poverty line, which no longer entitles him to collect welfare, to collect leket, shikha, and peya, those things which are meant for poor people. Right? So once he's above that threshold, 200 zuz, he's no longer entitled. He's considered like an usher, not he loses that ani status. Now let's say a person is very wealthy in terms of assets, but no money. The sanya. Batim, sodos, akramim, yes, fields, houses, real estate, vineyards, he can't find any buyers. So he's loaded, but no money to buy food. What do we do? Machil oisai, maserani. You can give him maserani. He's a poor man. Ultimately, He needs money. Ad mechsa up to until half. What does half mean? Half of the 200 zuz. So Rashi explains, because we assume that ultimately he'll sell off his properties. Even if it requires selling at a discount, he'll sell it. So bottom line is, if he has 200 zuz worth of property and he'll have to sell 50% discount, he'll get 100 zuz for it. So we can give him half of the 200. Basically, we can give him the extra 100 to get him up to the 200 mark. But once he gets 200, he's no longer eligible. So we can get him up to that point. And Mar, Rabbi asked the kasha, "Hey Chidami, what's going on here? Why is he not being able to sell his properties for market value? Are we speaking that it's a market crash? Everybody's real estate went down. And his joined the fund. Everybody's assets dropped in value. So why are you stopping at 100? Give him as much as he needs." And Rashi explains, because if a person has less than 200 zuz to his name, even 1,000 people can come give him a coin at once, and he can keep that. If you give him a little at a time, you get him up to the 200 mark, that's it. He's no longer eligible. But if you give it to him all at once, that's fine, because he got it when he had less than 200 zuz. So why are you stopping it? Give him as much as he needs. If you're doing it in one swoop. Because it's not his fault. It's the market crash. Everybody's plans went down in value. Oh, must be. Everybody's land, everybody's property, everybody's real estate is high in value. For the day, but his is different, because he's been approaching too many real estate dealers of late, and he's making it apparent that he's desperate for money. You know what happens when a person gives off that perception? I did the ayah of an afakazuz, since he's running in and out, and he's desperate for money. Zol Ari. That triggers a drop of value, a devaluation of his properties. So, in reality, he brought it about. He was negligent. He wasn't careful. He wasn't a prudent businessman. I feel important not like this. Don't give him anything, because his assets are really worth money. Right? So he has no right to collect. So Rabbi answered on this. It must be speaking like this. Leitzricha must be the b'yaymin Nisan yakarat. That in the Nisan, time before the planting season, land has higher value because it's worth much for the farmers who can go and cultivate the land. But during Tishrei season, post-planting season, it's no longer valued as high as a Nisan. So we're not speaking that there was a market crash. It's just a seasonal cycle, a natural cycle. Now everybody else waits around. They hold up. They don't sell now. They wait until the value goes up. Natri, they wait at Nisan. And then they sell. But this fellow was desperate. Since he's desperate for money, he has no time to wait. So he's compelled to sell off his field according to the current value and get the current price for it. So it's not his fault. It's circumstantial because of desperation. So ad pal go urchil. So we assume that typically it goes down at most 50%. So his 200 zuz property is now only worth 100. So we can give him the extra 100 to get him up to 200. But typically it doesn't go down below that point. So therefore we adopt this formula. So that was Rabba's explanation. So how does that pertain to our sugya with the Meitav and with the Subin? V'achanami says Abai. Let's sort of apply a similar concept to our sugya. Gavin Azak and Dina Beidis. The Torah says that a victim of Hezek can go collect the best of the Mazik's property, right? Let's say the Nizak says, you know what, I don't need the best quality. I'd rather get a little bit of a larger piece of land of poorer quality. I'll make up for quality with quantity. So give me Beinanis, medium quality, instead of Idis, give me Beinanis, Tvei a bit more than I deserve. Let's make a deal. So now the Mazik can say, look, I'm willing to make a deal, but he's going to blackmail him a bit. He says, look, now things are low in value because it's Tishrei time, right? Amali ishaklas kedinach. If you choose to take what you're entitled to take, the idus, okay, shaka kedahashta. So you get based on current value, which is going to get you a lot. Because let's say I owe you $1 million. In today's price, in today's market, $1 million gets you a big field because the prices are low. It's dishrei time. It's postseason. But if you opt to choose Baininus, which you really are not entitled to, okay, I'll give it to you. But, with a big but, Shakal Kiyukil Kamei. We'll have to prorate it based on future value and what it's worth during Nisan time. Okay? You want to do that? Fine. So that's what the pasuk is saying. There are two routes to take. If the Nizak chooses to take what he's entitled to take, it is. So he takes it based on today's market value. But if he chooses to take Yashiv l'Rabbi Subin, he wants to take, a lesser quality karka, okay. But the Mazah can sort of twist his arm and say, look, yeah, I'll give it to you based on future value, which basically gets him much less. Maskav l'Rav Acharayak, I don't understand. So, if the Nizak chooses to go down, he loses. You're disadvantaging the victim with respect to low quality fields. That doesn't work. Rahman Amar Torah says he's entitled to the best. At least the best. Meitav. Right? You say, well, Torah is saying he has a right to take the best. Of course. At least the Beinus Zibur has a right to take. You can't twist his arm and cut corners just because he decides to drop in quality. This pshat doesn't work. If there's anything to apply this concept to, it's not to the nizak. We'll connect it to the Baal Chayv. Baal Chayv is dinei bebeinis, right? When you collect your loan, you get the medium quality. The Amalei, suppose he's trying to strike a deal. Havli is a burist fei purta. Give me, C quality, a bit more than I deserve. A bit more than I would get if I would, get the beinis. So here he could respond and say, look, you want to take beinis? Gesundheit. If you want a different thing, I'll cut some corners. Amalei, he can tell him, shachlas kadinach. If you want to take, what you're entitled to get, the beinis, shachal gadashta, take according to today's market rate. But otherwise, if you want to go down to ziburis, okay, I'll give it to you. But shachal kiyuvil kamei, I'll price it based on Nissan's value, which is more, and you'll end up getting less. Maskal of Achaber Darvika. Once again, Imkain, if that's what you're going to do to him, Na'alta tell us if they love him. You're going to slam the door in the face of the borrowers. Basically, you're going to make it difficult for the bank to collect, for the Baal Chayv to collect. You're making it more difficult to borrow money. Because look, the Baal Chayv has a very strong argument. The Amalei, he turns to the Levi. You remember I lent you $1 million, remember, right? Imagine if I would have that money in my hands right now. I can go out and buy out the world. Ilu havuli zuzik. Let's say I would have that money in my possession. The money I lent you, right? If I would have it, havu shakli kadashta. I would go and buy it according to today's rate. Very low rate, off-season rate. Hashta the zuzik abach. Now, just because my money is by you, I'm going to lose out. Eshkol kiril kami, going to charge me based on the high market rate of Nissan? That doesn't make sense. If there's any connection, any place to adopt this the concept, it's only in one case. The ksubas isha we'll connect it to knus isha. So the ksubas isha is collected from ziburis. The ksubas isha dinam ziburis. The isha who collects a ksuba payment upon divorce or being widowed, she has a right to collect from ziburis the quality C, poorest quality property. That's the halacha. Now let's say she wants to upgrade. Oh, now you have a right to prorate it based on future rates, based on future value. Let's say she tells him, she says, Havli Beinanis, instead of Ziburis, I don't want the poor quality, I want it, a little bit better. I understand I have to give up, but it's a bit less in size, but higher quality. Okay, he says, no problem, but at a higher rate. He says, look, Ishachlas Kadinach, Shachal Gadahashta. If you want to take what you deserve, Ziburis, okay, today's rate. Otherwise, if you want to go up, Shakli Kiyukul Kamei, based on Nissan's higher rate. Okay, so that works because really she's not entitled to more than ziburis. If she wants to go up, okay, we give it to her, but with a condition. So that's a very good pshat. Now, we haven't really answered our original kasha because Abaye's pshat didn't really work out according to the Gemara. So Rav Bar Yaakov asked on that. Basically, we're left without a pshat. We have a contradiction. One pasuk says you have to pay the best. The other pasuk says give anything you want, even bran, subin, mekom kashi. How do we answer that? Amar Rava. Listen to this. Call the yav leimi meitav leisavle. The Torah is saying like this. You want to pay with a field, the best field. You want to pay with bran? Okay, go find your best bran. You want to pay with peanut butter? Best quality peanut butter. It's always the best of what you can access. So it's not a stira. Whatever you give the best. How can you say that meitav applies to anything? Well, meitav sadeuksiv. Meitav is specific to field, to paying property, not other types of items. Elo ki asra papa, when he came, Rav Huna Rishua and Beiraf from the base medrash, but sure they answer, they explain like this. Kol mili meitavu. When a person chooses to pay with metaltalin, with items, whatever you pay is considered the best. Why? Kol mili meitavu, because there's always a market for anything. Even something of low value, go to a place where they don't have it, and you'll rake it in. If you can't sell it here, you sell it in a different town. So there are no restrictions when it comes to paying back metaltalin. Whatever you pay is considered meitav, except for land, which is not going anywhere. You can't ship it around, you can't export it. The lazily meitav Torah is saying you got to pay the best, so that it is something of high demand. So that people will jump and buy it. So basically, that answers the kasha. The Torah is concerned about the victim being compensated properly with something that he can, sell easily. So when you give him karka, which is sort of stationary, you got to give him the best. But when it's something that can be exported and shipped around, anything works, because they'll always find a customer. Boy minei Rav Shmuel bar Abba Merakrunya, he asked Shalom Rabbi Abba. Kishain Sham. True. So you pay meitav of the field. How do you estimate? How do you evaluate? Based on his best, the mazik's best, or it was based on market standards. So the perpetrator here has, very good quality land, which, relative to the landowners in the neighborhood, that's considered meitav. In terms of market, value, this is called meitav. But he himself has super quality fields, which is far surpasses the meitav of the olam of the people at large. So which meitav does he have to give? Is it based on the common concept of meitav, common standards, or his standards? B'shaloya and shaman, or b'shaloylam and shaman. Now, whose shita are we going with? Are we even focusing on the mazik or not? I'll leave it to Rabbi Shmuel. According to Rabbi Shmuel, we never focus on the mazik. There's no question, because he says the amma b'dinizik shaminan. You're not obligated to pay your best as long as it matches the highest standard, highest quality of the nizik. So of course you don't have to give your best. If you give the meitav, which is considered meitav out there, that's for sure good. Right? The question is like this. I'll leave it to Rabbi Kiva, the Amar b'de mazik shamina. According to Rabbi Kiva, it's all about the mazik's best. But still, how far do we go? How far up? His very, very best? Or as long as he has a meitav, which in terms of market regard we consider this to be meitav, that's enough. My meitav sadei omer achmana mutar denizah. The Torah says he has to give his best. It means as opposed to getting away with giving something which equals the nizak's best, that doesn't work. You have to give your best. Right? So as long as it's considered meitav out there, it's labeled as meitav, that's enough. Or you can say no, you have to go all the way to the top. Meitav Sadeyu, to give your very, very best, irrespective of whether it equals or surpasses the standards of Meitav out in the world. Omar Lei, so he responded, Rahman Omar Meitav Sadeyu. Torah says, the mazik must give his Meitav. That's it. It's unequivocal. Vat Amrit B'Shel Olim and Shaman. How can you suggest that's based on, the common standards? His best is his best. Okay, we'll continue Be'ez Hashem tomorrow. So the bottom line is, the Torah says, a mazik has to pay Meitav. According to Rabbi Shmuel, it doesn't have to be higher in value, higher in quality than the Nizak's highest quality field. According to Rabbi Kiva, it does. It's all about the mazik's high quality. We had another machlekes regarding mazik of hegdish, if he's chayiv or pater. We had a stira. Is it meitav or is there anything? And according to the maskan of the Gemara, karka only meitav, because there has to be something of high demand. Whereas if you pay any other types of items and metaltalin, in that case, by definition, it's called meitav because there's always a market out there, and therefore you can get away with paying even subin. We started with a sugya of whether meitav is personal or relative to the standards out in the market. Initially, the Gemara responds that according to Rabbi Kiva, right? According to Rabbi Kiva, it's all about the meitav of the mazik. Of course, he has to give the best of his best. All the best to you and Hatzlacha Rabbah.